Let's start with a question. When you hear the word gossip, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's the image of a whispered secret, a juicy story about someone who isn't in the room. Our concern naturally often goes to the subject of that gossip, the person being talked about. We worry about their reputation, their feelings, the damage it might cause them, and that concern is valid. But today, I want to invite you to shift your focus. I want to look not at the target, but at the source. I want to explore the psychological effect on the person doing the gossiping. What happens inside the mind and heart of the person who whispers? Is gossip a harmless social tool, or does it leave a mark on the one who wields it? Today, we'll argue that gossip, while a powerful and ubiquitous human behavior, has profound and often negative psychological consequences for the gossiper themselves. We'll explore the immediate payoffs, the long-term costs, and the complex web of social and personal dynamics at play. Let's begin. First, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. If gossip were all bad, we wouldn't do it. So, what's the appeal? Psychologically, gossip offers several powerful, immediate rewards. 1. Social bonding and in-group status. When we share a piece of juicy information with someone, we are implicitly signaling trust. We're saying you and I are on the same team. We are the in-group, and we are discussing the out-group, the subject of the gossip. This creates a powerful, albeit sometimes shallow, sense of intimacy and belonging. Sharing a negative story about someone else can make us feel closer to the person we're sharing it with, united by a common perspective. 2. Information gathering and comparison. We are social creatures, and our survival historically depended on understanding the complex social landscape. Gossip is a form of social intelligence. It helps us learn the unspoken rules of our group. Did you hear how he got in trouble for that? It tells us who is powerful, who is vulnerable, and how to navigate the hierarchy. It also fuels social comparison. By hearing about someone else's failures or scandals, we can feel better about our own lives and choices. It's a temporary, cheap boost to our self-esteem. Well, at least I didn't do that. 3. A release valve for emotions. Sometimes, we gossip simply because we are frustrated, angry, or jealous. Gossip becomes a way to vent feelings. Instead of confronting the source of our frustration, we talk about them behind their back. It provides a feeling of catharsis, a momentary release of negative energy without the risk of direct conflict. So the allure is clear. Gossip offers connection, information, and a quick emotional boost. It feels good in the moment. But this is the hook. The immediate rewards often mask a deeper, more insidious set of consequences. This is the core of our discussion. The act of gossiping doesn't happen in a vacuum. It shapes the gossiper's psychology in several key ways. Think about it. If you regularly talk about others behind their backs, what do you assume others are doing? The psychological principle is simple. We project our own behaviors and motivations onto others. If gossiping is your primary social tool, you will naturally assume it's everyone else's too. You become hyper-aware of whispers, huddles, and side conversations. You start to wonder, what are they saying about me when I'm not here? This creates a social environment of paranoia and anxiety. The gossiper, who sought to bond with others, ultimately creates a world for themselves where trust is impossible. They are trapped in a cycle, constantly anticipating the very betrayal they are actively committing. Gossip, by its very nature, requires objectifying the person you're talking about. You are reducing a complex human to a single story, a scandal, a mistake. The more you engage in this, the more you practice dehumanization. You train your brain to see people as characters in a narrative, not as individuals with feelings. This has a direct impact on your ability to be a trustworthy friend. True, deep friendship is built on a foundation of loyalty and safety. The friend who gossips sends a clear, if unspoken, message. My need for social currency is greater than my loyalty to you. Your secrets are not safe with me. Over time, people subconsciously pick up on this. The gossiper may have many acquaintances to trade stories with, but they often find themselves lacking truly deep, intimate, and trusting relationships. They are surrounded by people, yet fundamentally alone. This is perhaps the most profound internal cost. When you consistently focus on the negative aspects of others, Their failures, their flaws, their embarrassing moments. What does that do to your worldview? Psychologists talk about scouting for the negative. Your brain becomes attuned to finding fault. And here's the crucial part. The lens through which you view the world is the same lens through which you view yourself. If you are constantly scanning your social environment for what's wrong with people, you become hypercritical. This negativity inevitably turns inward. It can fuel deep-seated insecurity, shame, and a harsh inner critic. You may gossip to feel better about yourself, but the long-term effect is the reinforcement of a belief that everyone, including you, is fundamentally flawed and untrustworthy. It's a strategy for self-esteem that ultimately erodes it from the inside. Imagine you're annoyed with a colleague, so you start telling others they're so unreliable, they never do their share. You're not just describing reality, you're shaping it. Your colleagues' perception of that person shifts. Their behavior, that person shifts. But more importantly, your own behavior shifts. You've now publicly, within your group, committed to a narrative. You will be more likely to interpret any future action of that colleague through the lens of them being unreliable. You might stop collaborating with them, thus ensuring the project fails, which you then cite as proof of their unreliability. You have actively created the very situation you were complaining about. Your gossip didn't just report on reality, it constructed a more negative one for everyone involved, including yourself, who now has to work in a more hostile, fractured environment. So, if gossip is so psychologically costly, how do we step out of the shadow? How do we resist the powerful allure of the whisper? It starts with a conscious shift in our communication. We can move from gossip to genuine connection. Shift from talking about to talking to. When you have an issue with someone, the bravest and most psychologically healthy thing you can do is address it directly, with respect and honesty. This builds true confidence and resolves the issue instead of letting it fester. Shift from venting to processing. Instead of venting about a person, you can process a situation with a trusted friend. Difference is subtle but key. Venting is, I can't believe she did that. She's so selfish. Processing is, I felt hurt when that happened. I'm trying to understand where it came from and how I should respond. One focuses on blaming the person, the other on understanding your own feelings and finding a constructive path forward. Shift from judging to curious. When you hear a story, resist the urge to judge. Instead, get curious about the human experience. That sounds like a difficult situation for them. I wonder what led to that. This simple shift engages empathy and understanding, the very muscles that gossip atrophies. We began by asking about the effect of gossip on the person who speaks. We've seen that the gossiper, in their quest for quick social connection and a momentary boost, often ends up building a prison for themselves. A prison of paranoia, shallow relationships, a negative self-concept, and a self-created world of conflict. The most profound relationship we have is the one with ourselves. And the way we speak about others is a direct reflection of that relationship. It's an echo of our own inner voice. The next time you're tempted to share a juicy piece of gossip, pause. Don't just think about the person you're about to discuss. Think about the person in the mirror. Ask yourself, is this story building me up, or is it slowly tearing me down? Is this connecting me, or is it isolating me? The answer, as we've seen today, is often written in the shadows we cast with our words.